Holy crackadoodle. You guys, I missed out on a whole lot of updates. I have wanted to update all the great big news happening. You'll notice I have a hot water bottle on my head. That's because I have a medical condition where I get migraine headaches. And I got one on Sunday night that started getting really bad. And that was the worst time because all the big news was happening this week with Alberta independence, the referendum, the big Danielle Smith announcement on Monday. But you know what? I find when I have the migraines, and this one was especially bad, and not to make this about me, but you guys just know that I can't, it's enough just to even watch a video will kill my eyes and my head. So, but I seem to be back in business, and maybe that's good because I caught up with everything, trying to summarize what the hell just happened. If I could go back a little bit. So what's the big news was Monday, we have a lot of people are reporting that the Premier of Alberta has announced, the way they're reporting it is as if she announced a referendum on separation, which could be, in effect, what happens. But maybe we could just back up a little bit. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong about it being Ralph Klein. I'm sure it was the Premier Ralph Klein, but we're backing up here. Alberta didn't have referendum. I think we didn't have anything. Like there was no such thing as a referendum. In Canada's system, this kind of direct democracy thing is not popular. And I think that here's the complaint people had in Alberta, is that they said, okay, we will make a referendum system. You can call a referendum, people, all you little people out there. But they made it so high. It was like 600,000 signatures were needed. You needed to do that within 90 days. There was more to it too. Like you had to show that you had so many people from major cities, and then so many from the rural. And a complaint a lot of people had was, what happened is they said, oh, okay, people, we'll give you your referendum. But then some kind of nerds sat down and figured out what would be the minimum maximum. Does that make sense? The minimum maximum, the amount of what was needed is bogus, really. It was made so that they knew almost nothing would be able to achieve that referendum, what you were required, right? So what Smith did on Monday, which is being kind of misreported as she called a referendum on separation. But wait, we'll get to that. But I think what it is that she has new legislation, lowers I think it's, if I recall, is it 177,000? Whatever it is, it's more realistic now. Okay, now, this is where everyone got excited because, in particular, following the re-election of the globalist liberals who I don't think, listen, I'm going to tell people this. It's almost a good thing because if anybody in Alberta had any remaining hopes, if you had some, and I think there were people like this that were like, you know what, maybe Paul Olivier will get in and conservatives will take, there'll be kind of, it could even be like an Alberta century, this, no, not Alberta century, but it could be a pro-Alberta government. But you know what? You guys only have to think about what happened for 10 years and to know that Eastern Canada voted that in again. And I think that's what happened is when they saw the results, people in Alberta, some surveys, had as many as 40%. We were sort of hovering around 25% wanted Alberta independence. And then as maybe a reaction. See, I think too, it's not just an emotional reaction though. I think a lot of people in Alberta were also rationally were waiting to see what that result would be before they would kick off any opinions. And even those of us who already were for separating were say, okay, just hang on a little bit. Like, let's just wait to see the results. I know Kevin O'Leary talked about that. So did Jordan Peterson. Let's just let them have the election. And then from there, it was something like, guys, if I just read this right, it was 40, there was polled something like 45% of Albertans were talking about separation. Actually, the surveys and polls, too, are kind of interesting because you'll see things like, one survey had a 65% of Albertans were, I shouldn't quote this while I'm not looking at it, but it was something like, were for separation or agreed that it may happen. So, right, it's kind of, so that's interesting to note that, though, because somebody might tell you, well, it's still only 35-40%, but they're finding there's a lot of soft. This is why the campaign is really kicking off now. But I think people need to do a good job of trying to convince the other Albertans who seem to be kind of soft, like they're open to the idea of it. I think there's already something like 100,000 signatures. And that might be from the Prosperity Project. So we're getting close to 177. I think it's doable. There's a whole world of things that have got to go on, though. It has to be a clear question. People are going to have to decide, what are we asking? Like, what exactly are we asking? To remove ourselves from Canadian Confederation? So that has to be worked on. Okay, anyway, that's what's happening. Smith, of course, did mention that although this new policy is not calling for, it could be a referendum on anything. Okay, it could be a referendum on anything. But why don't I not hold this in front of my face? Could I stop doing that? But she as well said this has been the biggest question. What most people are considering. It's likely that will be the next referendum. She said this could happen in 2026, which I think is great, because at this point, we really need to start campaigning. Okay, at this point, I think everyone is just grabbing. It's all happened so fast that everyone's just trying to grab the rails and figure out where we go. What's the path? How would we, which is a good thing, because we need to sort that out. We need to sort out where we're going. What's going to be the question? What are the pathways? What does everybody need to do? Okay, once we get enough people on board, we do have to campaign. So I think that 40% is going to move up. Years ago, I predicted it'll be 76% in favor of leaving Canada. I think it'll be more. I think it'll be about the same to join the United States. But this is the other thing, too. Right now, as far as I can understand things, no matter what happens, the first stage needs to be separate from Canada, become independent. From there, you can discuss becoming a U.S. protectorate. What would happen? Will we become one of the first new states, or a 51st state? By the way, I don't like saying 51st state, because it makes, I know it's just a word game thing, but it sounds like, we're going to be one of the last one, the 51st one, as if that's the last one. But really, it sounds better to say we would be the first. We are the first state in years. We will be the newest state, so maybe that's just a marketing thing. But you get my idea. You know what? So what's happened next? Well, as I sort of recover from, I find the hot water bottle on the neck helps. Sometimes I go cold pack and then a hot pack. Okay, so the next exciting thing while I was laying in bed with cold pack on my eyes trying to get over this migraine, it seems that they've gone directly, the opponents have gone directly to the native thing. So we have some chiefs, but they always sell this as if they're the chiefs of Alberta, as if they are a branch of government and they are our chiefs of some kind. So, I mean, they are the chiefs on their reservation, but again, why don't I hold this away from my mouth? But I remember they did this when Quebec wanted to separate or had their referendum. The federal people go, oh boy, they go right for the natives and try to get their native spokespeople to show up as if they have some power to say yes or no. And of course, boomers, they just lose their mind over this. Now, this is a boomer thing, influential boomers who are obsessed with some thing about natives, I found. But the thing is, by the way, chiefs, and see, gets wacky too, because sometimes they say, well, the natives are not Albertans. They are Canadians. This is Canadian land, and they made a deal with Canadians. By the way, I think this is not actually how it works. But if they decide that they are Albertans, then they get a vote. They can vote in the referendum. One vote, one per chief, all they want. So this, anyway, sounds like this is what blew up next. And then you got a lot of people who really don't give a flying about the natives. Suddenly, all of these people, these Eastern people and people that want to stay and oppose Alberta have shown up waving their chiefs around like they're like a shield, like some kind of weird, like a weapon or something. So they're being used harshly. Also, do you know there was Edmonton had a independence rally, and what's the first thing they did is they sent a lot of Pretendians. And if you don't know what Pretendians are, the name probably should tell you. So they sent a lot of Pretendian activists. Again, my understanding here, guys, is that this is neither here nor there. It would be the same as if you had 7 or 10. I don't know how many chiefs there are, 10. But it would be the same as if you had just 10 people from, I don't know, truck drivers or some gas and oil guys or whatever, a Sikh temple, 10 of the gurus of the temple making an announcement that they're opposing a referendum. Like, okay, that great. Yeah, okay, you guys have 10 votes, so I'm happy to see that. And then finally, you guys, as I'm kind of catching up on everything, I noticed that there's a whole lot of people are just going nuts with this idea of like the crown. And so this also is goofy too. Like, I suppose they think the King of England is what, going to come over and tell us that we're not allowed to do this. It's funny, they still use the word the crown. The crown and the whole monarchy thing, I wouldn't mind it, except for when I go to the UK, I can go myself, and I ended up sitting in a room to be questioned with some Pakistani guys, and I don't get nothing. So this Commonwealth thing, there's not a thing I get to have any relationship with the UK, with the Commonwealth, with the King. I don't know. It seems like they like to bring me aside and then find out what I'm doing there and question me. And as far as I know, I don't get any special rights in the King's England. So I don't know what the F he thinks he would do. And do the natives think that they're what, phoning? Or is Ottawa going to phone the king? So people are using this, like, it's really an archaic term, the crown. Oh, really? Okay. So people are trying to make a bunch of it's like geopolitics. They're trying to say, well, Alberta, you can leave, but you can't have the land. So you will not have land or any of the resources in the land. And then this brings me to the next thing, because I've been on social media and I can't believe how many people, I swear, with Ukraine flags in their bio. Okay, so that's the social media people with the Ukraine flags who are going full Putin on me and everyone else, letting us know that if we think that we could separate, well, then you better, good luck to you, because Canada will come in and take regions. Like they're going to make Jasper and Banff Parks the new Donbass region, and little Ukraine, Alberta will find out that they don't have the right to be doing that. I guess, like, it's crazy to me how these people, and there's a lot of these Eastern liberal types with the Ukraine flag in there, how quickly they become little Putin Juniors. Oh, they're excited about how they're going to come and claim the Donbass. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Jasper and Banff will be the new provincial areas that they're going to send the federal government, I guess, and I suppose the King of England. And then they're going to tell us we have no right to, get out of their version of the Soviet Union and the Russian Federation. And now Canada is going to be the new Russian invasion. Like, that's where these people's heads at. And they'll say this while they have a Ukraine flag. And also they think that Putin is involved. But they also want to be the new Russia invading Ukraine and be little Putin Juniors and warn us that they're going to. So crazy stuff, you guys. Yeah, I kind of missed a whole lot of the stuff going on. Like I say, I have sometimes, if anyone out there has migraine headaches, I think you know what I'm talking about. You cannot stare at a computer screen. Never mind trying to write things or do a video. It's just impossible. But I'm feeling better now. So it was good. It was fun to do a summary of the last 6 days and just kind of... yeah, I'm feeling better. Hey, by the way, my channel is new, so I don't have a lot of subscribers yet, but thank you very much to the people who've started subscribing. Next time, guys, I promise I'll stop putting this in front of my face. Not that you need to see my face, but, But anyway, okay. Anyway, this is just a wacky video where I can just summarize. It's like I haven't gone into a coma, but I just wasn't able to look at screens, or even I wouldn't be this animated anyway. So it was fun to update on this. And hopefully I can kind of get back on track, because I do want to kind of keep up on this on a sort of, guys, I might not post daily, but I could try to post, whenever we have some latest news going on. And I'd also like to put some fun facts about Alberta. As well, too, I'm making these for a lot of my American friends. So a lot of them are kind of, what's happening? They're not as familiar with the parliamentary system and the provincial system. I was telling one of them, I said, Premier, you're just going to have to think of a governor. You can call her Governor Danielle Smith if you want. And you can say a province is a state, and of course, some American friends, they know much more about it than others. So part of this video too, and as well as networking with you guys too, I want to see if we can do something where we can help the American friends sort of understand what the hell is going on in a way that speaks to them. Hey man, I am going to go. I don't even think I need this anymore. I'm feeling actually pretty good. I think I'm going to take an Advil, and then I think hopefully I'm out of this now. Okay, guys, I'll talk to you next time. Hopefully I'll be in better condition and get things and have a little bit better news and info for you. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.